today about the new plan we have for 2012 and our open enrollment that we refer to as our HRA plan. Again, D for 2012. We'll talk about how that works and how it may well fit into your personal portfolio. We think it's a great plan. We're excited about it. It's called an HRA 1500. And that's kind of a mouthful, but HRA stands for Health Reimbursement Account. Some people call it Health Reimbursement Arrangement, but in our example, it is a specific account. It's a high deductible plan. It's a consumer-driven plan or consumerism plan. And the concept here is that, you know, if we're more involved in the process, if we understand the cost drivers in medical care, we'll be better consumers of medical care. And this plan helps you do that by giving you recognition of what the costs are. But at the same time, it enables you to pay a lot of those costs with this HRA, with your account. Works like this. The deductible is $1,500, and the first $500 of that for an individual, or $1,000 for a family, is paid from the health reimbursement account. Any money that you don't spend rolls over to next year. So if you have a year in which you have fewer expenses, or you can somehow limit your medical expenses, anything not spent of that $500 rolls over to the next year. And the rollover is up to 3 times, so you can actually accumulate up to $1,500, which of course is the deductible. Pretty clever way to does it not. The HRA pays first. That is, when you go to the doctor's office or you go to the pharmacy, and before the deductible is applied, the HRA pays its amount. Again, up to $500. It's all internal. It's all handled by Anthem. Actually, the subsidiary called Luminous. You'll hear more about that. But it's built into the rates. There's no separate accounting required by you or by your bank. You do not have to put any money into the account. It's essentially there for you. And you may also use a flexible spending account. Many of you have the FSA accounts, whereby you put in money on a, as you know, use it or lose it basis. So you can have the flexible spending account to complement the health savings account. It's a very flexible plan, and we'll see more about how that works. It also has a drug card, a little different than the one you've seen in your other key care plans, for example. This is a 10-30-50 instead of the 10-40-60. But it works very much the same way. So let's talk more about how the plan really works. One of the big features of this plan is the positive wellness and preventive care incentives. In fact, if you become more involved in your own health care, take some steps to make yourself a healthier person, and you use less health care, you know, we're going to give you some incentives. We're going to pay you to do that. My Health Assessment is an online tool that you can use to just to value your personal situation, just so you get an idea of what a snapshot of your health picture. And by doing that, $50 is added to your account. A health coaching program, if you identify in this confidential health risk assessment that there are some conditions you need to manage and you need to take a look at, this is where the coaching program may be a great help to you. And by enrolling in a coaching program, that's $100 added. By completing that program, which takes a while to do, it's $200 added to your account. So again, some very positive stuff. In the same way, tobacco-free program with a $50 credit, a healthy weight program is a $50 credit. So these are all added to your $500 and roll over, you know, from one year to the next. In many ways, the plan is like traditional coverage. Your HRA and your deductible together are part of your benefit. The $1,500 deductible is for an individual, $3,000 for a family. The first $500, remember, comes out of that health reimbursement account. And that applies to all so-called non-preventive services. We're going to talk in a minute about preventive services because, again, that's one of the features of this plan, high concentration on preventive and wellness services. But it's like a PPO. In fact, it is a PPO. It uses exactly the same network of doctors and hospitals that you're familiar with from the key care plans. Exactly the same network. Once the deductible is satisfied, this plan pays 80% up to the out-of-pocket maximum, and as you will recognize, that's about to say that is the same out-of-pocket that's in just about all of our other plans, $3,000. So look at it this way: if you have a $10,000 claim, or a $50,000 claim, or a $500,000 claim, your exposure is the out-of-pocket limit of $3,000. So from that perspective, you know, $3,000 out-of-pocket limit. What plan is best? Well, in many ways, I would tell you that the lowest cost this may well be the lowest cost plan for you. I mentioned earlier that preventive care was a big hallmark of this plan. The recommended services, and when I say recommended services by code there, HCR, healthcare reform, is every day it seems like coming out with some new guidelines on exactly what the recommended services are. But those services, and certainly such things as PAP, cholesterol screening, mammography, all of these are the so-called recommended services. They're covered at 100%. As long as you're in the network. And again, the network is the PPO network. But in addition, in this plan, we're taking it a step further. Preventive RX, that is, any medications connected with prevention are covered under the drug card. Again, that 10/30/50 drug card. As in all of our plans, the drug copays don't go toward the out-of-pocket costs. But a little more about that preventive RX. Essentially, and you'll see in your open enrollment material, there are 2 pages of specific drugs which are part of that preventive RX program. And essentially drugs that are used to prevent a condition or to prevent the consequences of a condition. Such things as blood pressure medication, cholesterol medication, birth control, diabetes medications. These are all the so-called preventive drugs, and again, they are treated by the drug card, they're handled by the drug card. For more specific information, I would encourage you to look at the information that's going to be in your open enrollment packet. But like I say, there are actually 2 pages of drugs that are covered. Now let's talk a little bit about how this all works in the real world, claim comparison, because as I say, this is a great plan. Many of you are covered in the Key Care 20, so we'll use that kind of as our reference point. If you go to some office visits, let's say you have one wellness office visit, the cost of that by the time Anthem does its allowable cost, maybe about $200, but the cost to you, as we said, is $0. A regular visit to your primary care physician, in this example, let's say you're going to have 2 of those in a year's time, at $75, and your cost, of course, is only $40. In the Key Care 20 is only $40. A specialist visit, let's say you have 3 of those,